Meet Aldi Russell, the 2-year-old boy from Indonesia who smoked 40 cigarettes a day and then casually chugged his bottle of milk. When I saw this video back in 2010, I thought, what kind of parents would let their toddler do this? And that's also what most people thought. Today Aldi is 11 years old, and when interviewed about his smoking habit, he said, I kept watching people smoking and it looked delicious. It feels good when smoking, but now I think chocolate is better than smoking. Although funny, his answer raised the question of how can children be continually exposed to cigarettes? And is it just bad parenting? The reality is that the tobacco industry preys on vulnerable population. In countries like Indonesia, they can advertise the deadly product with little regulation or oversight. However, the effects of tobacco products are not limited to Indonesia or developing countries. It's estimated that about 8 million people die every year from tobacco-related illness. That's about 22,000 people per day, or 150 people by the time you're done watching this video. Despite this horrific number, the industry continues to thrive, fueled by addiction and profit. In this video, we will dive into the dark history of the tobacco industry and figure out if we, as a society, have a path to free ourselves from their influence. From the early 30s, the tobacco industry was booming. Women started smoking, soldiers were given free cigarettes during war, doctors were prescribing healthy cigarette brands, and movies were promoting smoking as the cool thing people do. Advertising of tobacco products was everywhere, on TV, radio, and in newspaper. Because increasing sales were the only priority, they went even as far as advertising tobacco products in cartoons to hook children. Then the soldier returned from war addicted, creating thousands of new customers. By the mid-60s, more than 40% of Americans were smoking, and everything was perfect. The tobacco industry has successfully convinced the public that smoking was not only harmless but healthy. Then thankfully, in January 1964, a report from the US Department of Health labeled "Smoking and Health" sent shockwave into the industry and started the movement against big tobacco. Before the government intervention, the American Cancer Society and the American Lung Association led anti-smoking efforts. These organizations were concerned with the rapid increase in lung cancer and helped the government release the report, proving that smoking caused severe respiratory and cardiac disease. This was by far the biggest threat to the tobacco industry, and they got hit hard with sales drop and public backlash. Soon, lawsuits accusing the industry of negligence piled up. Activists called for boycotts of tobacco companies and their affiliates. Public health campaign clearly stated how smoking negatively affects babies and advocated for a smoke-free environment around children. Countless book advertisements and other media painted smoking as harmful and provide advice for quitting. Then the government took the decision to ban advertising of tobacco products from TV, newspaper, and radio. For any industry, being attacked from so many directions would be fatal. However, given the size of the tobacco industry today, it's safe to assume that something shady must have happened, and you will be right. Big Tobacco was set on not going down so easily, and they used every dirty trick to ensure it didn't happen. Their strategy was simple: create as much doubt as possible on the validity of the research. They started by targeting any doctor, activist, or researcher who dare speak up against them, and destroying their reputation by exposing their dirty little secrets. Then they funded their own research division to investigate the danger of smoking. I know this is ridiculous, but this is what the chairman of their research division said. There is no conclusive scientific proof of a link between smoking and cancer. The millions of people who derive pleasure and satisfaction from smoking can be reassured that every scientific means will be used to get the facts as soon as possible. Unfortunately, their strategy was successful, and the sales of tobacco products rebound. Confusing the population was good, but the limited opportunity to advertise due to bans and restrictions meant little room for growth in the future. It also made them realize how important it is to have influence and control over the government. So after learning that lesson the hard way, they were better prepared when entering new markets.
Today, the leadership of Philip Morris International and other tobacco companies have absolutely no moral compass whatsoever. They're willing to make as much money, killing as many people, using whatever tactics the law will allow.
Take Indonesia. Tobacco companies are financially and politically powerful because they are one of the largest sources of revenue for the government. Thanks to their political influence, they can still advertise through traditional media, and the result is shocking. This comment summarizes the situation quite well. Tobacco in Indonesia is like junk food in the US. It's unhealthy, addictive, and sold by a huge corporation, but everyone is consuming it. This corporation even managed to put junk food in your children's lunches to get them addicted at a young age. That's comparable to how they are trying to sell tobacco to kids in Indonesia. Other developing countries like Zimbabwe are being targeted by big tobacco, where they exploit farmers and make them work in terrible conditions for shitty pay while destroying the forest. In America, despite the disinformation from big tobacco research, more people were seeking ways to quit smoking. This led to the creation of an industry entirely dedicated to solving the nicotine addiction problem. In the 80s, the development of FDA-approved nicotine products, such as gum, nasal sprays, and other devices, made it easier for people to quit smoking. Today, the most popular alternative of smoking is vaping. E-cigarettes have experienced a recent surge in popularity as new flavor and style attract a younger generation of smokers. Those products are quite effective and help millions of people eliminate the addiction. So, is that it? Did we find the solution to nicotine addiction? Well, that's what we thought until data showed that vaping is becoming more and more of an entry point for new nicotine addicts. They advertise their product as safe and fun, targeting young people full of insecurity, and presented vaping as cool and trendy. Then people get hooked and then transition to actual cigarettes. While researching for this video, I was glad to find that the smoking rate is decreasing rapidly. This is partly thanks to the huge investment in anti-smoking campaigns, and that our generation is becoming more and more health conscious, with people trying to stay in shape and have a better alimentation. We won't eradicate tobacco product anytime soon, but we can all feel better knowing that thousands of lives are saved with each percentage decline. Watch this video next if you want to understand how Elon Musk created a cult around Tesla and himself. But first, like this video and subscribe for more content. See you in the next one.